Hello, Cancer, and welcome to Indigo Rising Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you're having a great day. This will be your weekly reading for the week of February 1st through the 7th. And we do have a full moon that comes in on the 2nd of February, and that can be a time of heightened emotions. You might feel a little overwhelmed and anxious or snappy and irritable. You might have changes in your sleeping patterns. That's something that I experience, but it's a good time for us to release any resentment or fear, and also to just to practice patience and calm because you know it's coming. You know that full moon is coming, and practice being very patient through all of that full moon energy that you get. We then move into the waning gibbous moon, and that is a time of self-reflection and rebirth. And of course, that's the rest of the week. It calms down a little bit more. It's a good time to make positive changes and really get rid of bad habits and negative thinking, and a time for us to work on achieving our goals and our aspirations. So please keep that moon energy in mind as we move through the week. Got a card flying out. This will be an intuitive general reading for the energies that you may or may not encounter. So as always, please take what resonates and leave what doesn't on the table for someone else. And the card that came out for you, Cancer, is Don't Let Pride Get in Your Way. So let's see. And that's a full moon in Leo card. I'm not even sure what sign the full moon is in this time. I forget to look that up. I really should stay on top of that. All right, let's see what the Cancer Collective has going on. As I'm shuffling, my fun weekly reminder this week is that you try really hard to get out in nature. You know, maybe take a walk or find a beautiful park or an area with a nice view, and just take time to really stop and connect with the miracle of nature. I know if you're like me, it is cold and snowy here. I'm not sure I'll be taking any walks in the woods anytime soon, but with that full moon coming up, I'll probably take some time to get outside during the full moon and appreciate that. You know, it might be glistening on some snow, and that'll be very pretty. So, but just try to connect with nature a little bit this week, even though it's winter. And if you live in a warm place, the rest of us are really a little jealous. So make sure you are enjoying that as well. If you live by the ocean, of course, get out there. For the rest of us, we appreciate that. So, all right, let's get into this reading, Cancer. February 1st through the 7th, don't let pride get in your way. Your present energy right now is the Page of Cups. So it looks like you're, some sort of new emotional track here for you, some sort of new thoughts, ideas, in the emotional realm, but also you're keeping your sense of humor about you. I see the Page of Cups as just being our most humorous. I love the pink. Of course, I love the color pink. You see my fingernails and things around me. I love pink. Look at his costume. And he's got that fish in there. He's just the funniest one in the whole of all the pages. I feel like if someone's telling a joke at a party, it's probably going to be this guy. So that's a good energy. That's a good fun energy to have for the week. Your current situation right now is the Knight of Pentacles. So you're probably keeping your humor because there's some sort of action in the financial or material realm. And this could be, material realm, it could be that you're painting your kitchen. And of course, you need to try to keep your humor, or if you're doing some sort of renovation or changing something, even if you're just moving the furniture around in your house or apartment, you have to keep your wits about you and your humor. But you might want to, maybe you're working on refreshing something. This also could be some sort of move in the financial realm too, job change, job moving. Maybe you're moving from your office from one place to another. And you just kind of have to keep your sense of humor about you. That can be stressful and an interruption, but things happen, right? And maybe it'll be better in the end for you. At the root of your situation is the Emperor. So the Emperor is our card of stability. This is the most stable card in the deck. It's a 4. The Emperor is a leader, a builder, someone who's very established and who can get things done in a systematic way. It's an authority figure on whatever it is that you do. And you've got this energy at the root of whatever is going on for you. So it's something where you're a leader, you know a thing or two about it. Um, and you're fine. It's just that, again, it's the most stable card in the deck, and you've got that at your root here, which is a good place for it. In your recent past is the 9 of Wands. So this is you kind of looking back on things in your past, and this could be why these changes are afoot. I used moving your room or your office, that sort of thing, as an example. It could just be anything in the material realm, but you're looking back or the energy that you're coming into this week is that you were kind of looking back and doing an evaluation, and maybe you just thought, it's time for a change. It's time for a change of scenery. It's time for a change of something. And you're making that change, and you're doing it in a very stable way. It's not like you're being crazy about it. I think it's a stable change made from really good um, evaluation on your part. So that's always a good thing. What is on your mind this week is the Eight of Pentacles. And let me tell you that I've pulled eights in every reading. There's something going on. I love it within the collective with the number eight. So here's your eight. And it's about hard work. And, really, even though this card is about hard work, I see it as hard and interesting and fun work too. Like if you I say if you were to say this guy's name, he wouldn't look up because he's just very into what he's doing. It's that kind of work where you're so into something that the world melts away. That's the kind of work we enjoy doing. And that's on your mind this week is to get some things done. And it could be, again, you've made this evaluation. You're going to work hard at something, make things more stable, but again, keep your wits and your humor about you, which is always good. What is just ahead of you this week is a little bit of enjoying the fruits of your labor with the Nine of Pentacles. And now we have two nines on the table for you. So you may want to look up angel number 99, see if that means anything to you. But what's ahead of you is to enjoy the fruits of your labor, which I love. It looks like you're working hard and you're being very stable. And go ahead, you need to indulge a little bit in that as well. In your advice position is the Three of Swords. So a little bit of a disappointment here. And because it's in your advice, it's almost like, maybe this is the don't let pride get in your way. Something maybe doesn't go exactly like you want it to this week, but it's going to be okay. I feel like it's just a little blip in your week, and you're going to, maybe it's one of those lessons where, you're rolling along and you think things are going very well, and bam, something gets in front of you and it's not the way you wanted it to go, but you're like, okay, you just kind of have to deal with it. And when you do deal with it and manage it and move things to a different way, perhaps it changes your path just a little bit. And it might be a change that you don't see it yet, but you'll turn around in 6 months and say, thank God that thing happened, because now here's where I am, and I wouldn't have been there if not for this one little disappointing thing. So sometimes, you have to appreciate like, thanks for the obstacle. It's very hard to do in the moment, I know, but just realize that there is something that comes up that's not really the way you wanted it to be. But look, it's the only kind of gray card here in your entire reading. I like to look at the color of the tarot, and this is, of course, a little bit of rain, little cloudy day there. And I think the advice, because it's in your advice position, is just to accept that that's what it is. Don't let pride get in your way. Move your way around this obstacle and just keep moving ahead, because you're on the right path, and there's just maybe the universe wants you to make this slight adjustment. All right, what is beyond your control this week is the 10 of Wands here. So you're definitely beyond your control to push through to some sort of ending. I'm also saying that you're not alone. There are also other readings. Again, I'm seeing these eights, but I'm also seeing these endings in the 10. So everybody's kind of doing things to kind of push through endings and make changes. And sometimes that is just because it's a full moon week. We're wrapping up a cycle. Um, kind of moving towards that new moon cycle. So we're kind of trying to do those final pushes. So I'm not shocked about that. What is your secret desire, or what are you trying to avoid? Queen of Wands comes up. So is it your secret desire to, really have an understanding of passions, passionate things, passion maybe for your work, passion in enjoying the fruits of your labor, whatever that might be, indulging in some sort of passion, or are you trying to avoid that? And there really is no right answer when the card is in this position. It's really up to you to answer that, and different cancers will answer in different ways. So, but it's kind of your big question is, are you avoiding, things in the passionate realm, or, and at least understanding them, or is that what you want to do? So ask yourself that question this week. In your outcome position is, look at you celebrating here with the Four of Wands. So we had another four here. Yeah. You have two fours. So 44, and you get the number eight, 4 and 4 does add up to eight, just saying. But, the end of your week is about celebrating, and it's about having a good time and enjoying the fruits of your labor a little bit. I think you have been hard at work, but look how stable you are in your in your base. And the fact that this disappointment that comes through, it's like I said, it's a disruption. It's almost like a fork in the road. You're going to move around it, and you're going to get to a place where you can actually celebrate and enjoy your week. Don't let this ruin your whole week. That's all I can say. What is hidden from you this week is the Hierophant. So it's not like you're going to be seeking any guidance. I feel like a lot of the things that you're going through this week are kind of status quo. You know what you're doing. You might be, again, making small adjustments. Again, make sure with that full moon energy that if you do need to practice patience and calm, especially if you've got something that doesn't go exactly your way, a lot of times these are just, that's what the universe likes to do, is throw a little wrench in. How are we going to handle this? And you're going to be very patient and calm and kind of see it coming. That's how you're going to handle it. Let's see what the Soul Oracle deck says for Cancer this week. Final message here for Cancer, February 1st through the 7th. All right. And the card that comes up for you guys is Begin to Explore. So what is it that you do need to explore? And it might just be something that's inner. Maybe it's something passionate over here. Maybe you're just kind of feeling, and you want to, you want to wake up every morning. Don't you want to wake up every morning and go, I get to do this thing today? And just kind of have that kind of passion and fire. I love it when I have mornings like that. It's like, oh, there's a thing I get to do today, and I'm so excited about it. You want more and more of those days, right? More days than not. So try to get your life to where it is more of those days. All right, let's see what you need to do in the way of self-care. Self-care for Cancer this week. Self-care, and the card that you get is the card called Mind. You are the master of your inner world, and you decide how the outer world affects you. Cultivate a calm inner state. Calm inner state. I mean, I think you can do that. I think you've got the stability to do it. You have the awareness around you to do it. You have the sense of humor to do it. You can buckle down and get to work. So, cultivating what was the word there? A calm inner state. So, and maybe it is time for you to maybe explore some meditation. Again, we've got this full moon coming up. Um, and it is a time for us to practice that, to practice patience and calm again, if a wrench gets thrown, especially in whatever it is that you're working on. Here it comes. You just have to learn how to maintain your calm through it. So, Cancer, thank you so much for being here this week. I do hope there was something in this reading that you can take away and use in a positive manner in your week this week. If you're comfortable sharing, drop me a comment down below. Let me know if anything here resonated, or if you had questions. I'd be happy to answer this for you. Also, if you hit the like and subscribe button, it really helps my channel. I appreciate that so much, but more importantly for you, it'll help you find me next week, where you can come back and we can see if this energy continues or if there's something new here for you next week. So thanks so much again, Cancer, for being here, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.